Sometimes we are so concerned about money. My father used to say, you want money, go and work for it. Don't wait for me to die, because you find nothing, thank God. But your thing is this, that's exactly what Jesus is telling us. That sometimes the attraction we have for this world, the greed that we have, we are going to leave it. We are not going to leave, we're not going to take it with us. And sometimes because of our little money we have, sometimes we'll be a weapon for others to fight over. And sometimes we'll be the victims, but they abandoned us because of that. The 13th station for me is the most special station of all. When Mary received that infant Jesus, not anymore as a baby, but now the infant of God, the very special innocence of God. And she's looking at his womb, what they have done to him. Worse than a beast. And here he is laying dead without no life in her arms. How many times mothers and fathers cry over the casket of their son and daughter. A son who was killed in an accident because he didn't listen. He didn't listen. Stop drinking and go behind the wheel. But sometimes they learn the hard way. But the one who left behind is the one who suffered. How many times people abuse alcohol, drugs, sometimes prescription and sometimes not, and they die with some disease. How many young people die of AIDS today because the immune system does not take it? And that mother and that father, I see in the station the crying of the mother and father over the dying of a son and daughter. Sometimes, yes, because of cancer. But even so, it is by right the children who bury the parents, not vice versa. And the last station is our station too. We too have to bear it. How many times you as a mother, as a father, you have to swallow your pride. And you don't tell Joe what Jim has said, because you are going to bring war in the family. And that's what Jesus is saying. One word less is better than 3 said. Because otherwise you are going to ask for trouble. How many times we go to our burial place of our loved ones, and before they lower down, that is one thing this country is very good about. That before they lower the casket, they take the family. We have to put our loved ones down and put the dirt on to remind us that dirt we are and dirt we must come. But it is very hard when you see that casket being lowered down and the dirt that you are not going to see that loved one anymore. So listen, dear people, this is what the stations of the cross that I have been preaching during Lenten season. It's the life of each one of us, and whether we like it or not, each one of us are and were and will be in those stages of life. I ask you in a very special way to have great devotion to the Passion of Christ. This week is a very special week. This coming Thursday at 7, we begin the service of the Last Supper, the washing of the feet, and the transit of the Blessed Sacrament to the Altar of Repose. That is not the tomb of Jesus. That we come on Thursday to say sorry, to apologize for the spitting, for the curse words we said to him, for the many times we hit him, for the crown of thorns we put on his head, and say, Father, that was then, no, it is now. When I hurt my brother, when I said something that is not good, I am doing it to Jesus. He said to St. Paul, why are you persecuting me? Who are you? I am Jesus. He never even met Jesus in his life. So the church is Jesus Christ. So whatever we do to each other, we are again crucifying Jesus. And don't tell me, well, Father, you don't understand, because I think you understand. Forgive them, Father, for they do not know what they are doing. That's the greatest sermon. I ask you, Thursday, I know many of you visit churches, which is good, but spend time with Jesus. He is going to be here all night long. The Knights of Columbus, thank God, they are going to watch an hour each, they take turns every hour. He is going to be here till morning, Friday morning. The church is going to be open. Don't tell me it's 2 o'clock, don't tell me it's 3 o'clock. Come, the church will be open. And visit Jesus. And make your reparation for the many times you miss Mass. For many times you challenge his teaching. For many times you brought hate in your heart. For many times you did things that are not really what Jesus wants you to do. Don't leave him alone. Don't pay other churches want to be closed. We don't care what other people do. We care about us. We do what we can do to really spend that time. We call it the night of abandonment, the night of betrayal with Jesus. Then of course, Friday morning at 8, we come for the office of reading. And then of course, at 12 o'clock, noon, we begin the preaching of the 7 words. Again, that is the lifestyle of each one of us. God, the Father through his Son, those last 7 words is the testimony of a good Christian. And then at 1:15, we take the statues out in the procession. And then of course, at every station on the picnic way here in the garden way, we have a picture of every station, and we do the station while the band will escort us with music. We need a lot of people, about 50 people, to carry the stations and also the statues. If you can help us, please do so by telling us before Mass, after Mass tonight, that you're going to be here. Many of you are going to be working, and that's why we provide stations for you at 7 o'clock on Friday night. After that, we are going to come together so that we can decorate our church. Remember, it's not just the altar, the whole church will be decorated. I thank Mrs. Malino who worked so hard this week to fix everything together. Everything is set in the hall to go. So I ask you in a very special to help us Good Friday after 8, from 8 to 10 to decorate our church. And then of course, on Saturday morning at 8, we come for morning prayers. And for those who have the custom to bless their food, bring your food with you at 12 noon, and Monsignor will have the blessing so that you can share it with your people at the table of Easter. And then of course, there is no 4:15 Mass. We'll be lucky, the door will be ringing, Father, where is the Mass? Because the only one Mass will say this, the Vigil Mass. And that will begin at 8 o'clock. And that will begin always after sunset. We can begin the vigil. Of course, Easter Sunday morning, the Mass will be a Sunday, 7 and 10. Many of you say, why Easter comes early and comes late? It goes by the moon. It goes by the Passover of the Jews. Remember that we are a descent of the Jewish people. Even our liturgy is all Jewish in its form. So even the dress that we wear has come from the high priest and so forth. So we go by the Jewish people. So Thursday, they begin the Passover. And of course, our Passover is also Thursday and continue for 8 days because the octave of Easter. But this is why the Easter go from one to the other. That was Julian II who said that we have to go with the Jewish people. Because after all, we are people who comes from that celebration of the Passover. Jesus was eating his Passover when he used to institute the great mystery of the Eucharist. I challenge you, dear people, this is the week of all weeks. I know many of you say, well, Father, you have nothing to do. Yeah, I have nothing to do. But each one of us today are going to pledge to do the best we can to follow Jesus, especially this week, to show him in return how much we want to love him for the love he gave us. God bless you.